Hello guys, this is the second part of our video tutorial about sales tax. So you can see here on the right side the tax type and the few options as well. This field determines which app the tax is used and which document the tax can appear on. You can choose sales to use this tax on sales order, or you can also use a non-options. So non-option is essentially if we wanted to include this tax in a group of tax. We don't want to list it individually with our sales or purchase tax. So take note of that. Under the tax type, you can see the tax scope. When you click the tax scope, it gives you few options. It is not the required field, but if we do choose a tax scope, it will restrict the configured tax only to be used on either goods or services. So let's just leave it blank. So moving forward, let's go to the amount field. It is basically the tax amount. So here in the Philippines, it is 12%. Also, we can find the definition tab. Using this tab, we'll be able to find parameter of this tax. We also have a couple of options. The sections of distributions of invoices and the distributions of refunds. So let's first discuss the distribution for invoices. So to configure this section, we must have exactly one line says based. So based refers to the order line in our sales order or an invoices. So this part here is important because it is basis of all the following lines. So we also need another line for our tax percentage. So it is the second line over here. So the account column and the tax percentage line here, we can see the account in which the particular tax will be recorded. We can specify the account here. So a journal item is automatically be recorded over the accounting app for sales that uses this tax. So, and if you can see here, 100%. So the tax is recorded to this account over here. So this tax grid over here is used to generate tax report automatically according to the country's regulations. So we are now done discussing what's in the distribution for invoices. Let's proceed to the distribution of refund. In these sections operates under the same principle. So once you know how to configure the other one, you'll know how to configure the other. So moving on, let's go to the advanced option tab. We have few options that we can configure. But first, we can actually add a label on invoices, which is what customer will see on the exported invoice. So take note, if you don't specify label on invoices, then the tax name will appear instead of those invoices. Then we need to select an accounting tax group, this one over here. We also have a field related to country and company over here. This tax only applies to one particular company or country. So on the right side, you can choose to have this tax included in the price, which means that the sales price that we list in our product form will be already included the tax. So lastly, we could choose to have this tax affect the base of the subsequent tax. So it means tax with a higher sequence than this one will be affected by this tax. So because of Odoo localization package, you won't probably need to configure a tax yourself. But it's also good to know how these options work. Now we know what goes into configuring. So let's apply it automatically in our invoices. So go to configuration, click settings, and look for the default taxes tab. On this tab, we can set up the default sales and purchase taxes. Default taxes is automatically chosen according to our company's country. So one more thing, the default sales tax that we configured is the one automatically applied to all our invoices. But don't you worry, we can still change which tax we're using on each sales order or invoices. So Odoo has a built-in tax rule or a fiscal position, so we can automatically or apply the correct tax rate whenever we sell our product outside the country. So let's jump to the fiscal position page by going to configuration and fiscal position. You can see some options. One of them is the Avatax. You can install Avatax in the app. So Avatax is a kind of program help us calculate sales tax rate in real time for every state, city, and places with special jurisdiction like the US. You can use Avatax or you could create a new custom fiscal position from scratch. As a reminder, you should only create a new fiscal position and tax when your accounting team gives you a go-ahead to do so. So with the blessing of the accounting department, let's create one. So just select new. So let's make one for Malaysia. On the right side over here, we can configure the fiscal position. Then choose the detect automatically and which lead us from couple of options. The VAT required and the country group. We're going to select the VAT required and under the country field, we're going to type Malaysia. So two more fields appeared, the federal state and the zip range. That option is used if we need to further drill down the specific related to the country based on the fiscal position. So just leave it blank. So we are all set. So this fiscal position will automatically apply to customer in Malaysia. Now we need to configure the tax here in the bottom tab. Let's say the product of ours has 12% in the Philippines but only 10% in Malaysia. So to configure that, add a line here and select 12%. Under the tax apply, it's 10%. And let's edit it, go to the amount and set it to 10%. Then save. And just like that. So beside the tax mapping, you can see the accounting mapping. You can add additional accounting rule or any legal notes over here. But that's more on the accounting side, so just leave it blank. One last thing, let me show you how to specify a fiscal position directly on the contact form. So go to home, go to contact. So just select any contact. So go to sales purchase tab. You can see here fiscal position. And you can select the right one and we're done. So this way we can always be sure the correct fiscal position is applied to the correct customer. And that's it. That's the end of this tutorial. Bye bye.